Welcome to Mat Pilates Level 1. If you missed our beginner exercises, go ahead and look for that video before doing this one because I'm going to start right off with some of those exercises. So I'm starting here with the pelvic clock, and then I'm moving on to my dead bug and my femur arcs. These exercises warm up my lower abdominals and help remind me to control my pelvis when I'm moving my legs. I'm moving on to my arm arcs, and these help me warm up my upper abdominals. Next, I'm doing my bent knee opening one side at a time to warm up my rotational muscles. Then when I'm ready, I'll move on to my side to side. Moving on to my bridges to warm up my glutes and open up the front of my hips. I'm going to practice some hip movement inside lying to challenge my stability. Can't forget to do the other side. I find in my body that this side is usually the harder side to control, so I have to pay extra close attention. Coming into quadruped, I like to practice lifting one extremity at a time before moving on to opposite arm and leg. Next, I'm going to move on to dart to warm up my upper back and build strength along the back of my body and the back of my arms. Going to work on my prone press up, and this is going to be important today because we're going to move on to swan a little bit later. I also want to practice my assisted roll up because we're going to practice rolling a little bit later as well. Finally, I'm going to practice some standing roll downs before we move on to some of the more challenging exercises today. So our first level 1 Pilates exercise is going to be the 100. This exercise strengthens the abdominal muscles to support the curved shape while still breathing. As you exhale, you're going to roll up to lift the chest. Legs can be in a comfortable position, so you can either do a 90 degree angle, 45 degrees, or the legs can be low to the mat. As you inhale, count for 5, and exhale, count for 5. And you can do this up to 10 times. With osteoporosis, we're not going to curl up. We're just going to keep the head supported on the ground. And during pregnancy, you can keep your feet on the ground and prop up the upper body. Moving on to our single leg stretch. This exercise improves coordination, abdominal strength, and hip mobility. Inhale to lengthen the spine and exhale to draw the knee in and lengthen the opposite leg. Press the shin into the hands to assist with the curl up. If you have osteoporosis, you're going to keep your head on the mat. And if you have a total hip replacement, you're going to keep the knee above the hip and not let it go past 90 degrees. The mermaid exercise improves spinal mobility into lateral flexion and rotation and shoulder alignment. As you inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale to stretch to the side, arcing the arm over the head. As you exhale, rotate the spine and reach the arm under the torso. Exhale to stretch toward the opposite leg. This leg position asks a lot of our internal and external rotation, so if it's uncomfortable or you're unable to sit in this position, feel free to prop up the pelvis for support. If you have a total hip replacement, we're not going to do this exercise. Keep the shoulders relaxed and lengthen the back of the neck. Remember to do both sides and make sure to prop up the pelvis if you need to in order to get into this position. Next, we're going to practice the swan. So this exercise improves thoracic mobility, core strength and awareness and extension, and hip mobility into extension, as well as arm strength. Inhale to lengthen the torso and hover the head off of the mat. Exhale to reach the elbows back and begin to peel away from the mat. As you exhale, continue to lift the lower thigh off of the mat. Once you get to the top of the movement, you can look forward. The hand should be directly under the shoulders by the end of this movement. Keep drawing the shoulder blades down the back of the body and widening the collarbones to keep the neck in a nice neutral position. We're going to move on to rolling. So this exercise teaches how to attain and maintain an elongated C curve throughout the body and improves core strength and balance. Inhale with the roll back and exhale to roll back up, balancing on the sit bones. Our final exercise will be spine stretch. This exercise improves spine mobility into flexion, postural awareness, and hamstring flexibility. Inhale to lengthen the spine and relax the thighs. Exhale to roll forward without moving the pelvis. Continue to stretch forward into this horseshoe shape and then roll up to your starting position. If you have tight hamstrings, bend the knees or sit up on a rolled up blanket or mat. If you have osteoporosis, then we are not going to do this exercise because of the amount of spinal flexion. That's it, guys. Give yourself a pat on the back and we'll see you next time.